Jace the Mind Sculptor could be okay. Karanos is bad because Teferi and Detention Sphere are both exile Karanos. But again, like, you're not winning against blue-white control by grinding them out with a deck like the blue-red tempo deck. You need to just go under them. Don't try and play their game because they're better at their game than you are. So don't like try and turn your deck into a bad control deck. Go under them. Don't try and go over the top and match them. It's all about role assessment. It's Magic players always want to try and just outgrind the grindy decks. The best source of card advantage in Magic, especially in Modern, is killing them with cards in their hand. If you have 0 cards and they have 5 cards, it doesn't matter if they're at 0. You just use 5 for 1 then, because they died with 5 cards in their hand. What's going on, Turkin Dakan? Thanks for the 5 months. Welcome back. I appreciate that. I feel like I can't keep this in the dark. Like, if I knew my opponent was doing something fair, I would keep this, but this seems like a bad 7 to keep generically. A 7 is much better. Looking for a land drop, though. It's got much more interaction. Hey, Emo Robot with the 3-month resub. Thank you very much and welcome back. I appreciate the continued support. There's definitely a time and place for just trying to draw more Magic cards. And playing whatever your deck is that's not a control deck versus a control deck is not it. They ditched Gargadon and Bridge from below there. So looks like BridgeVine. I hope... If we lose this game, it's going to be incredibly embarrassing. I don't think so, King. I mean, Blood Crypt Faithless Looting is arguably the best thing you can be doing in Modern. It's not Defizzy, man. I'm not saying we can't lose. I'm just saying this is probably our best start here. What I'm saying is, if this hand can't win, we probably can never win this matchup. Why did they let me do this on my turn? Do they want me to pop this relic? I feel like I'm okay with this trade. I feel like I'm okay with that trade, but maybe I'm misassessing. They have a Gargadon suspended over here. So this thing's on 8 right now. Yeah, I feel like they definitely know they can't, especially game 1, right? Like, they need to just play through it, so they need to, like, give me a chance to pop it for value. So, like, they definitely, like, offered me the option to do that, and I think I'm okay taking it. All right, bring it. Worth noting, against most of these decks, Field of Ruin is now a wasteland. They generally do not play a second basic, just one basic mountain. Why would they only play one basic? Their deck is very land light, Snowski. So like they need, their deck is very color intensive requirements and it's land light. So there's only so much room to fit basics into their deck. Am I supposed to path here? I'm supposed to path this, right? If I path this, I can then... If I path this, I can Detention Sphere these. No, I'm just supposed to take this hit and Verdict next turn because I want the path for the Greater Gargadon, right? Yeah, we want to try and not die to the Gargadon. So I'm going to fetch a Hallowed Fountain tapped here and take this down to 9. And then Verdict, clear the board. They'll get 3 Scries, but that's like kind of whatever. I could de-sphere both creatures if I path this extras. Please listen to the things that I'm saying if you're going to correct me. I explicitly said, do I want to path Viscerous here and then Detention Sphere? Or do I want to take the hit and then Supreme Verdict? Oh, they have Gargadon. They have Gargadon. Sure, they have Gargadon. Sure, be specific, please. Tell me why. No, it can't come in guaranteed after a Wrath. Oh, it is, because it can sack lands too. Yeah, I'm dead. Alright. I have loads of points. Am I dead, guy Ale? If I convert it to BridgeVine, does it come on next? Yes, JMP, it does. Alright. Do you have a particular BridgeVine list, JMP? Or just a generic one? Got me just grab my favorite. Timely is good here. The extra sweeper is good. Settle is fine. Architect of Thought's probably actually pretty good here, right? Probably cut these Teferis. They're probably too slow. I wonder if this is okay top end just because it floods the board if I'm trimming Teferi. Probably want to cut these. They don't really have a huge impact. Is that a Hallowed Fountain deck? What's going on, Rolk? It is. We're taking a crack here. He's Snot and Blood Moon. That doesn't sound very good. I don't think Purge is good enough, right? Because it doesn't, I guess it hits Greater Gargadon. It's probably fine. It's Gravecrawler too. Okay, yeah, that's good enough. Is Mana Leak good? Mana Leak might be fine. Let's try Mana Leak. I mean... Yeah, I guess Rune Tailor is similar to Detention Sphere. I guess it's not exactly the same, though, because they can still sacrifice their things to make zombies. Is Hollow One just a bad BridgeVine deck? I don't know. I don't think anybody's played enough with that deck to know that for sure. Atlas, they're definitely doing similar things. I guess the thing the Hallowed One deck does better than the BridgeVine deck is that the Hallowed One deck is better at... The Hallowed One deck is better at putting larger creatures into play. You can use Nimble Obstructionist to prevent Gargadon from being cast. That is correct. So the way Suspend works is there's 2 triggers the turn you cast it. There's a trigger to remove the counter, and then there's a second trigger that says cast this card. You don't want to stifle the trigger that's saying remove the counter, but you can stifle the trigger that says cast this card to have the result that you are looking for. Honestly, maybe I should have mulliganed more aggressively for Relic. We just, like, died even with that last game, though. Hallowed One is... I think that's true, too. I think Hallowed One's definitely a little bit more resilient to Graveyard Hate. Yep, that's 2 bridges. Anger of the Gods is, like, okay against BridgeVine. It's not amazing. What's better in my sideboard than Mana Leak? Do you think Spreading Seas is better? I agree that Mana Leak's not good, but, like, most of the rest of these cards on the board are medium. Ruined Halo is probably marginally better. We could name Vengevine with that. I don't think Seas is good. Less bad I would accept, but definitely not good. Am I supposed to path this now? I guess. This just feels really hopeless. We played against this with the Sultai Delve deck earlier today, and it felt pretty equally hopeless for that deck too. You cannot put Ruined Halo on Zombie. Zombie is not a creature. Or, sorry, Zombie is not a magic card. It is a creature. It is not a magic card. Alright, I'm just going to Wasteland them here. I think that's better than putting Teferi into play, or Gideon into play. Yeah, I could definitely see it being better than Leak, because, like, Leak's pretty medium. Would definitely buy that for $1. Yeah, honestly, the lack of Terminus it feels like a big deal to me. I think Terminus is one of the better cards in this archetype, and not playing it, I think, is definitely a little bit suspect. Especially because, like, Relic is an instant speed draw that you could use to trigger Terminus on their turn, right? These Viscera Seers can both turn into 2 more zombies here. Snowsty, you should read my article on Cool Stuffing from last week. I wrote about the changes and why I would make them the way I did. It's not even just about having Graveyard Hate to beat this deck. We played, if you're interested in seeing the BridgeVine deck played, you're definitely going to check the league that we played it in yesterday. The deck is very powerful and felt very resilient. Alright, if they're moving all in here, the Supreme Verdict might be good enough for us. It's linked on my deck list site, Snowski. So, I'm going to path this Viscera Seer inside of combat. And then they'll sacrifice it to itself to get 2 more zombies. We'll take 8 down to 6. We'll get to clear the board with Supreme Verdict. And then, like, maybe if we rip a Relic, we're okay from here. Well, Rolf, and part of it too is Modern doesn't even just strictly change so much as there's different fringe decks that do well every tournament. So, like, while the very top decks have changed a small amount, like, the fact that, like, the decks underneath them look different is just because a different set of tier 2 decks has been reported to do well in the last set, basically. So I'm going to go to 6 here. They have no card. Do I D-Sphere here or do I Verdict? I think I'm supposed to D-Sphere, right? I think I'm supposed to D-Sphere. They have no cards, Burgle. If they had cards, I'd have verdicted for sure, but they were out of cards. Coffees for closers, chat. And Dragonlord Ojutai is getting himself a cup of joe. It's one tasty dragon. And it was better than a Teferi here, right? Yeah, the opponent's archetype doesn't generally play Lightning Bolt. So while we are dead to Bolt here, it's unlikely that they have it. Baggins, you should read my article on Cool Stuff Inc. from 2 or 3 weeks ago, where I talked about all the different Fae variations that we played prior. Okie-doke. Okie-doke. Timely would be the nut here. Be very, very good. I guess if I Verdict, I get rid of their bridges. How do we feel about Wasteland them Verdict? Or would I rather have a backup Verdict? I'd probably rather have a backup Verdict, right? Alright, Ojutai. Deal 5 plus Anticipate. God. Plus Exile Bridges. God bless. God bless. 1 mana short of Gideon plus Emblem. Or plus Verdict. I'm not dead yet! I'm not dead yet! Help. I need somebody. Help. Not just anybody. Help. Do I pop this to get rid of their faithless looting? I feel like I should, right? I should pop this to get rid of their faithless looting. I could also hit a timely here. And then I 10 out of 10 just want an emblem here. Because even if this is just a gain 3, that's fine. This way we're not even dead to another Bushwhacker next turn. Alright. This is why Gideon's great. Let's actually kill them now. I realize that killing our opponent is oft not what this archetype is known for, but we're gonna try it today. I'm a fan personally. I think trying to untap search is silly. I think once you have search going, you're probably already winning the game by a lot. You'd rather just have an extra basic to try and beat Blood Moon more consistently. Don't play a kind of mediocre card in some situations to like win more in other situations. Like for Minamo on search to matter, what? You have to have search plus 3, 2, and 3. You have to have 9 lands. That's silly. You have 9 lands. Figure out how to win the game. Hey, Anoronics. Good morning. Counter you, kill your Thopter. All right, I think we're gonna get on the scoreboard, chat. At least not gonna lose in 2. Get a third game here on the draw. We'll cut the mana leaks and bring in the Ruined Halo and probably a Spreading Seas just because of cantrips. It's not good, but at least cantrips. I agree, the mana leak's pretty bad. Do we like one Spreading Sea better than a Teferi? Maybe one Teferi is better, just because like he's a way to actually generate card advantage and win the game later. Maybe that's better. They both suck pretty early. Modal, thanks for the 6-month free subscription. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for the half a year. I guess Damping Sphere could be okay in some situations. How much better is the new computer? It's actually not that much faster. My old computer wasn't specifically slow. I just more so wanted, now that I'm doing this as a full-time job, where if anything ever happened to my main rig, like I had a lemon part or something just randomly failed, I now have a second tower in the house where I could still work without having to take days off. So, this is making money. I felt like it was worth reinvesting some of that into having a second better system around. Plus, Christy can play games a little bit better now. She was playing on an old laptop before, and the other one has a decent graphics card too. We did have a cut the line for BridgeVine. You're right. I should put that in the title. It's probably going to be the last one today then. We'll get to Storm tomorrow. Invest in more monitors, but I already have so many screens, Chad. I have this monitor, I have this monitor, I have this one. I have 3. 3 is plenty. 3 is plenty. I don't need more than 3. 3 is plenty of screens. This is a mulligan, right? Just like Relic's pretty good in this matchup. Well, everybody that was missing close 7 into unkeepable 6. Check those off. Chests are 2.5. Oh, probably because of the Nexus of Fate, right? Yeah, I should sell. I have some amount. I don't actually remember how many I have at the moment. I've got 30. It's an okay amount. I sold pretty recently. Sad day. Actually bought 30 packs with my gold this morning at the gym, Jekyll Girl. Played one game. You should open them. No, those chests turn into actual dollars. From a gameplay decision perspective, Slither, I think Hallowed One actually has a lot of choices in it. We've played it a few times on stream. You can find my preferred Hallowed One deck list on my website, along with a YouTube playlist of all the times we've played it in the past. Play MTG. I sometimes fail to consider the deck my opponent is playing and focus immediately on the situation at hand. I want to know what decks I should play while trying to get better and having fun winning some game. Honestly, if you haven't played just like what are considered to be the best decks in the format, spend some time playing some of the better decks in the format. Decks like Hallowed One and Humans, if you haven't played them before, well, I can definitely see them getting dry if you are grinding them a ton. I think just like from a learning to play perspective, they offer a lot of good insight. And like, you know you're going to play against those decks in tournaments playing Modern, and learning to play against something is probably the best tool. Or learning to play with something is probably the best tool for learning to play against it. Ank or dead, chat. Not a whole lot we could do here. All right, we're going to have a second of Jeff does social media because I hate dealing with people that are annoying. This person's talking about making Magic accessible, and then they said, well, you have to do all these things. And I was like, well, doing those things is good for a specific audience, but you're underestimating how much you lose for some viewers because you have to stop doing other things to do all this stuff. And this person's comparing it to adding elevators and ramps to older buildings. And that's completely different because doing that doesn't take away from other people. People are very silly. People like to make really extreme comparisons that don't apply all of the time. It's like, did you even really think about what you said? We're very dead here, huh? This is 2, 8, 11. Well, they're talking about making Magic more accessible, and it's like, well, I definitely think there are things we can do to make Magic more accessible. Like, the degree to which they were talking about it requires you to take away from doing other things. So, yeah. All right. Well, waiting for the second match in this league to pop. I'd just like to thank everyone for hanging out here today. Welcome. My name is Jeff Hoagland. I'm a full-time streamer and content producer here on Twitch. I stream Magic 30 plus hours a week on this channel. We focus primarily on Modern. If you're enjoying my stuff, please consider subscribing to my channel. I stream here because I love doing it. My subscribers are the reason I'm able to do it as often as I do. Past that, you can support my stuff by checking out some of my wonderful sponsors. Cardsphere.com would love to help you turn some of your cards into other cards with other people. There's no haggling. They just take a 1% fee off the top. Inked Gaming would love to help you customize your gaming experience. Using code Jeff12, you can save 12% on custom playmats, mouse pads, binders, and bags there. CoolStuffInc.com buys and sells a lot of cool stuff, including TCG singles. Using promo code Jeff5, you can save 5% on Magic, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh cards with them. And of course, this stream wouldn't be possible without viewers like Anaronix, Justin Nivik, and all y'all out there. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Remember, if you are enjoying the stream and you're new, at least hit the follow button. Following the stream doesn't cost you anything, and I'll let you know when I go live and with what. We're 0-1, taking a nosedive to BridgeVine. That deck seems very good. We 5-0'd a league with that yesterday, and we had someone cut the line donation it, so we're actually going to wrap up with that today as opposed to Storm. No worries, Hypercritical. Yeah, our you know, I imagine that the BridgeVine deck is very good against what we're doing here, so... Stream Decker is up to date. Stream Decker on mobile is still having some growing pains and doesn't always update. BridgeVine, the bridge in BridgeVine does not refer to ensnaring bridge, it refers to bridge from below. Can I keep this? I'm gonna keep this. We're on the draw. Since Storm is tomorrow now, will I use your updated sideboard? I will, Erdian wins. So that's a win-win. I get to grab your latest one. What's going on, Mikey? Howdy, howdy. X-Death, thank you very much for the 213 subscription. I appreciate that. All right. Maybe we can steal this game on the back of Gideon of the Trials. Maybe we can steal this game on the back of Gideon. Just one of the many reasons I think Gideon is very good in this archetype. He answers random problems like this. White source. White source. White source. White source. Ding. Howdy, Jeff. Put these towards Marty Pyromancer. Will do, Kanamis. Thank you for the support. I appreciate it. All right. It worked last turn, chat. So what if we do it one more time here? White source. White source. All right, well, we'll put this into play because if they play a non-basic, we can grab our planes. All right, Chadley. Chatterson. The great Chad Biscuit. Deliver us from all that is evil, Chad. In this case, namely Mel. The way this league is going, they're going to have 3 in hand, right? Listen, if the option was shuffle and play Chad or don't shuffle and not play Chad, I definitely would choose shuffle and play Chad. At least our high land count deck is good against Mind Funeral. We've got that going for us. All right. I'm hoping that game 1... I'm hoping game 1 that this will be a concession, Chad. They could have Ensnaring Bridge. If they don't have Bridge, this could very well be a concession, Chad. Oh, yeah, that's true. Even if they have bridge, we could just, like, mill them out. So for people that have watched the stream before, you know, we've played mill a number of times. I'm more of a fan of the more controlling base build decks to get to leverage things like Ensnaring Bridge and stuff like that, as opposed to this more all-in type mill strategy, because in my experience, Modern's too fast of a format for the all-in mill strategy to be a good one. Alright, chat. Chad and the Dream Team. I've declared that Chad, Celestial Colonnade, and Dragonlord Ojutai are the Dream Team, and they're gonna bring it. Alright. What are we thinking here? Chad is indestructible when he's a creature, chat. Oh, you know what? I probably... Yeah! Chad gonna give it to you. God bless you, Chad. God bless you. Alrighty. Am I supposed to board in timely reinforcements? Because they're good if my opponent plays Hedron Crab. Am I supposed to board in timely because it gives me 3 1/1s if they have a crab? I almost think I am. It almost feels like that's a thing I'm supposed to be doing. Halo's fine. Halo's fine. No, I definitely want the paths in because crab's their best way to mill us aggressively. Alright, let's try this. I think the timely's probably being too cute. Gosh, I've been standing for almost 2 hours. Time flies when you're playing Hallowed Fountain, chat. Alright. How aggressively do I mulligan for Chad? How aggressively do we mulligan for Chad, chat? I feel like the answer is pretty aggressively. Chad's a click in it, though. Click plus Dispel plus Path feels hard to pass up. I think I keep this. You mean what decks are coming up, Fourth Skin? Exclamation point. Oh, I should put that in the title again. Exclamation point donation queue will get you a list of the decks we have. Alright, I'm gonna upkeep Path this Krabby Patty. That's why you don't board the paths out. Do I even want to play this? I kind of don't. Feels a little bit bad. So, Cryptic Command doesn't really change anything that we have going on. It might encourage us to crack the Flooded Strand. If they crack the fetch land at end of turn, I'm going to play the Vendilion Clique then, because it will allow us to potentially take a Fatal Push out of their hand before it can kill our Clique. Alright, now I'm just going to go ahead and draw step this. Could take something like a Bridge potentially if they have it. What do we got here? Set Adrift. So that's their answer to Chad. Thoughtseize is a little annoying. I think I take the Thoughtseize, right? Because Teferi is how I take this Mesmeric Orb off the table. The problem is that, like, every card in their deck just does something at this point. Because, like, even lands are milling us in the back of this crab. So we're down to 31 cards in our deck. This Mind Feudal probably hits us for like 6 to 8 on average. That puts us to 23. Field of Ruin actually thins a card out of our deck here, which this is a good line on the opponent's part. Just like forcing us to go down one card. Oh, and it hits the crab, right? So we're down to 27. This is probably going to put us to about 20 or so. That's a brutal hit. That's what, 11? Yeah, I assume we're dead here at this point. Okay. I'm excited for more BridgeVine. Fuxus, thank you very much for the 2-month free subscription. I appreciate that. Thanks for the support. Welcome. Welcome back. So, do I want to Cryptic bounce the orb? Yeah, I definitely should have let on the Strand. This also gives him a chance to draw Archive Trap and kill me, and I'm out of fetchables. Alright, I messed up. We're probably dead either way, but I definitely messed that up. I'm trying to think of, like, a series of cards they could draw that allow them to not win this game. Field of Ruin is just, like, subtly one of the best additions to Modern in a long time, I think. In addition to giving this deck a little bit more power, it also made decks like Green-Black mid-range much better. It kind of... Field of Ruin is like an additional card where, in addition to taking less damage from your mana base, it really kind of rewards you for staying in 2 colors as opposed to straying into a third. I think this hand is keepable. It always feels bad to get Archive trapped, but I think Negate into Clique here is definitely one of our better starts. We can stop an Orb if they have an early one. And we can play Clique to follow up. Yeah, Field of Ruin, like, basically accomplishes what people think cards like Blood Moon and Wasteland do, which is checking greedy mana bases. Because basically, Field of Ruin is the type of card where if you don't play basics, Field's going to punish you. Lead on Plains, you can negate a trap on 2. That doesn't change anything, right? Alright, my body is ready to get quad trapped. Yay, they didn't have it. Alright, well, they didn't have it there. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna go ahead and fetch a basic island now and pass so we don't get trapped later. We need a Nexus of Fate. Love it. Is Nexus of Fate a replacement effect? Or is it a trigger? I don't know how the card's worded offhand. It's a replacement effect. Gotta get on that next level. That's awesome. Alright, what you got over here? If they have an orb, we could be in trouble. Well, I mean, I think I'm supposed to take a glimpse here. I don't feel good about it, but I think we're supposed to take a glimpse. Because, like, that's like 4/5 of my deck, right? Just, I can negate one, but remember I'm losing one of these negates, chat. Like, they're thought seizing one of these negates. I guess they are behind on lands. They have 2 lands. They have 2 lands. If they have 1 land, I wouldn't even think about it. But they can cast all of these glimpses. I feel like their average card mill's way less than 10. Is basically what it comes down to. It's like, think about it like, if you clicked and saw 4 Boros Charms against Burn, you'd take a Boros Charm, right? Even if they were stuck on 2 lands. Oh no! Oh no, chat! Oh no! We really want to draw a Nimble Obstructionist, chat. We really want to draw a Nimble Obstructionist here. It would be easily our best draw. Are they setting? They set adrift my clique, chat. Cliques all alone. There's no one here beside them. I think Nimble Obstructionist is low-key great in Modern. I think it's a card we've all been sitting on. I think it's very good. Replay Click to take Trap. That's a good suggestion. Take your free spell. Oh, we've played ourselves, chat. We've played ourselves. We have but ourselves to blame. I think Court of Calling's very bad in Elves. That's why I played Lead the Stampede instead. Green-Black Elves is not a toolbox deck. Green-Black Elves is a kill-you-dead deck that's looking to gas back up after it plays its hand out. I think we're just supposed to play a 3-1 here. I think we're supposed to play a 3-1. We have 46 cards in our deck. Yeah, we're in a race with counter backup. And this is the other dirty secret. When people saw me top 8 the open with 4 Nimble Obstructionists in my deck, they kept asking me what the best things I stifled all day were. People asking that question, I feel like, don't get it. The reason why this card is good is because it's a 3-1 flash flyer. That's why this card is good. It's good because it kills people in decks that generally have a hard time killing people. Modern's a format about ending the game. The fact that it, like, randomly tags fetch lands and makes people stumble, or, like, tags Oblivion Stone sometimes, like, that's upside. That's not the reason you play it, though. The reason this card is good and worth playing is because it allows you to kind of play this Drago game while still killing people. Yeah, exactly. It's Nimble Obstructionist is good for the same reason like Resto and Mantis Rider are good in Modern. Like there's a card that just like ends the game very quickly. Yeah, the fact that like a 3-1 flash flyer I think is like on the verge of playable and then like randomly has other upside and can cycle when the base text mode isn't good is great. I actually can't see how many cards are in my deck right now. I think I'm supposed to just let this happen. I think just like the one thing I lose to is Ensnaring Bridge, and I'm just like gonna make sure that doesn't happen. We're going to play the list we had yesterday with a couple of the changes that we talked about at the end of the stream. I mean, double glimpse doesn't matter, right? Like, they're dead on board and I have 28 cards in my deck. There's like, the only things I'm negating here are cards that could kill me or cards that stop me from killing them. So like resolves, don't care. This was just like such a great example of why like having cards that can kill your opponent in this archetype is just like really good. All right, 1-1. I'd assume that Mill's a harder matchup, especially without a clock. I think since we're playing the BridgeVine deck again today, I'll probably add that to my website tonight too. My graphics buddy has time to make the banners. Jeff, do you think they could safely... I think Ponder and Preordain should stay banned for not power level reasons. They should stay banned because having too many good cantrips in the format makes gameplay redundant and boring. Is there any reason not to always do instant seed things in the draw step instead of the upkeep? The reason, Snowski, is if your opponent has counter spells, you're giving them a chance to draw another card they could respond with. Its representation at the Pro Tour is completely meaningless in terms of determining its power level. The reason why Wizards of the Coast shared all of the Pro Tour data and shared every deck list is because the data that they shared doesn't allow us to say anything statistically meaningful about the power level of any deck in Modern. The only thing we have to say about the power levels of decks in Modern is me flinging poop and you flinging poop back. Just sitting here talking about our feelings. Neither of us can construct a solid or reasoned argument backed up by data. All I can say is based on my Magic experience, I find this archetype generally lacking the way it's built. We're a little bit cold to an Eidolon here. I guess we have Gideon to like pseudo remove it. But if they play Eidolon, I really don't want to play Spreading Seas next turn, which kind of sucks. I guess if they Eidolon, I get to play Hallowed Fountain tapped. There's nothing wrong with talking about your feelings, except in the context of, like, things that should be data-driven. Like, there are things that are super subjective all around, but generally speaking, like, something like what's the best deck in the format should be something that we could objectively measure if Wizards of the Coast didn't want to hide data. What if I like flinging poop? Then boy, do we have a game for you. All right, we get to play Lad Chad here. And the question is, do I want to Lad Chad an emblem immediately, or do I want to Lad Chad and then +1? I think because I need to fetch, I just want to emblem immediately. Yeah, basically, Zanman, the splash just doesn't feel worthwhile. I tried to splash with Spell Queller, and losing Mutavault's a big deal. Like, Mutavault's a very good tempo card. Yeah, I think we're casting Chad as a healing self here. Just because, like, they have 2 cards in hand, and they have Riftbolt on Suspend, which means they're very likely to deal 9 to us next turn. You could also maybe argue that playing Gideon and embleming him is maybe playing to lose, or playing to not lose as opposed to playing to win. I can definitely see an argument being constructed that talks about that. Am I dead? Chad uptick does not guarantee D to bolt, because they could just kill us. They could just, like, deal 9 to us and not care about the Chad. Yeah, I assume we're not winning this game. We have Dispels, Negates, and Timelies to bring in, plus the Celestial Purge and a Ruined Halo, so we've got some good tools to board in. If opponents' draw is, like, exceptionally bad here, like their last couple cards, maybe Dragonlord and Teferi together could get us through this. Yeah, spreading seas is definitely okay in this matchup. For sure. This is my dragon. My dragon sits in play while I die to burn spells. Yeah, I think maybe to Fizzy Man that's correct. Maybe I'm just supposed to, like, plus it and hope for the best, basically. Am I dead yet? No, no ski. That's not something designing games doesn't actually really interest me. All right. Alrighty. I could have Teferi'd into field. You're super correct. I could have. That's a good point out. Thank you for pointing that out. I'm not good at doing the Teferi math at a glance. But yeah, Teferi costs 3, right? Is basically that's the mental shortcut I need to do. So I could have end step, untapped field and a land, and then fielded them. And then I'd have a Teferi in play at 6 right now, and I'd be up a card. That's much better. All right. Alrighty. I think we're just supposed to go for it here. We're dead to Searing Blaze, but I think we're dead to Searing Blaze regardless. Good game. No, Searing Blaze targets the player chat. Searing Blaze targets the player chat. So, while Searing Blaze wouldn't damage the Dragonlord, it still kills me. For I am a valid target. Searing Blood, that one you can counter, because that one only targets the creature. Thanks, Kylo. Yeah, so I think we just trim the sweepers, trim the relics. I think I like Cryptic better than Jace. And Spreading Seas alongside Field of Ruin is like okay for pressuring their white mana. Like, pressuring their white mana isn't going to prevent us from dying in the early game, but it can save us turns in the late game. And L1, congrats, Inner. Magic players always love to judge each other. Now you get to wear a shirt while you do it. Be official. What's my favorite Leyline effect? Definitely Leyline of the Void. Burgle, who's a sub here in chat and someone that I tick around with all the time, he often refers to Leyline of the Void as Modern's version of Force of Will, and I think it's just like a very apt description of the card. Like, most of the super degenerate things that you would like want a Force of Will against in Modern, like Leyline of the Void is actually better than Force of Will would be. Oh, this is really funny. Let me take a picture of this picture so I don't show you other kids, but hold on. The daycare just sent Christy this. These are my kids. This is Jake. You can probably tell by the hair, but Declan was buried up to his waist in sand. Oh, Declan. Apparently he kept saying, "Where did my feet go?" Kids are great. All right, I think we're gonna. You never had feet, Declan. What feet? That's what are you talking about? Where you been? Your little one starts daycare in a month. Any advice? I don't know if I have any specific ones. Definitely the first few times you're there, actually, I guess I do have one good piece of advice, is you should definitely make a point to, like, drop in once or twice in the first couple of weeks they're there, just to, like, see how they're doing. Reasonable daycares will let you drop in at any time, obviously, because they're your kids. When we pick the kids up a lot of the time, it's funny, Christina will, like, sit there and, like, watch them playing if they don't catch us out of the corner of their eye, just to, like, see how they're interacting with the other kids. All right, there's a Rift Bolt. So I think I just go Field of Ruin here, and then I'm planning to, if they don't give me something to mana leak this turn, end step Obstructionist. I did not have crazy hair like that. One of some of my relatives on my mother's side did, though. My hair was very straight when it was long. I've shared this photo on stream before. My hair when it's long doesn't always have ponytails, but it looks something like that when I was a child. Brand new sub there. Thank you, Manana Bango, for the brand new Twitch Prime. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. For context, I didn't oft wear it in pigtails. That's a photo that was intended to be funny from a night. I think we were going to see Rocky Horror Live that night with other friends in college. Do I hate other people if I only played Hollow 1 and Storm? No, it just sounds like you like winning. Am I supposed to counter this Rift Bolt? I think I'm supposed to counter this Rift Bolt. I don't know, maybe I'm just supposed to play a 3-1 and kill them with it, but I think stranding the Rift Bolt at Exile here is probably worthwhile. So again, if you're going to be trying to stifle triggers like that with Nimble Obstructionist, there's 2 triggers with the suspend card the turn it casts. There's a trigger to remove the counter, and then there's a second trigger to move the spell from Exile to the stack. And the second one is the one you want to counter, because if you counter the first one, it's just going to remove the counter the next turn. These are not looking good for our hero, chat. These are not looking good for our hero. For viewing who to be, I don't know. It's been, honestly, it's been so long since I've seen that. We used to go see it every once in a while when I was in undergrad, but undergrad's approaching a decade ago now, so I genuinely don't remember the full plot of that. Yeah, Eidolon's dealt 6, chat. That's usually the point where the game crosses towards unwinnable, right? Yeah, Halo was a couple cards like there. I did yet. Remember, I'm at a virtual 3 here. So if they have a Bolt, a Spike, or a Rift Bolt, I'm dead. Do I think Mardu Pyro is the best Thoughtseize deck in the format? I do, Mana Bango. I think Green Blackrock is a close second, but I do think Skullcrack 2 does it. Good games opponent. Little bit too late on my answers there. Yeah, honestly, we lost the first one to BridgeVine, which I'm not sure if there's anything we could really do with the specific draws that we have. I think, especially if, like, BridgeVine's going to be even more of a deck moving forward, I think not playing Terminus in your blue-white deck is probably a mistake. It's probably a mistake. Awesome, Tantrum Tryhards. No, we're gonna give it a fair shake. We're still live in this league to cash. I genuinely don't mind playing the Hallowed Fountain decks in matchups where they're competitive. I just genuinely feel that there are enough matches in Modern where these Hallowed Fountain decks really struggle that there's a lot of games that I prefer not to play with them. But if we can, you know, queue into, like, a Thoughtseize deck or some other, like, interactive deck, this deck generates genuinely good games of Magic. I understand from an emotional perspective why people like playing these decks. They tend to generate genuinely good games a lot of the time. I also think, though, from a realism perspective, that there's a lot of games that you just, like, aren't in because your deck just doesn't line up well against what they're doing. I don't know how this matchup goes. I don't know. This is a good matchup for the Hallowed Fountain deck. I don't know if I believe you. It's probably worse for this build of the Hallowed Fountain deck specifically because this Hallowed Fountain deck doesn't have Logic Knot in it. Yeah, Land Chant's gonna potentially kill them. If they don't have a Bloodbraid Elf to beat us down here, Chad plus Dragonlord could potentially run them out of the game. But I don't have any meaningful interaction here. Runed Halo on Valakut is okay. The problem is that Valakut still kills our stuff, is the issue. Yeah, I think I would believe that assessment, Stinger, that this matchup favors the Valakut deck on average, but it's winnable from the blue-white side. This doesn't feel good, but I need to take this Courser off the table. Their deck's gonna shuffle anyways, Dale, and I didn't want them to draw... I didn't want them to draw a copy of... I didn't want them to draw another Courser. So... clicking them isn't great here, but it's all we got, so let's do it. Stream Decker doesn't work consistently on mobile, Bloody Roar. I need to remember to message them, by the way, and let them know that it doesn't always update. You can always type !deck in chat to get the latest one. Two months of ridiculous memes. Omniscience, thank you very much for the 2-month free subscription. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I'm not dead yet. You will be soon. We will be soon. I clicked them into Valakut. I clicked them into... I shouldn't have taken a card there. I shouldn't have taken a card. That was a mistake. I clicked them into Valakut. Just... I'm gonna play the last one. I'm gonna try and find an interactive deck. I would not mind playing an interactive. I'm gonna try one. I'm gonna try. Give me someone with Tarmogoyfs. Give me a Death Shadow. Come on, just give me somebody who cares about my Supreme Verdicts. We're like 4 matches into this league, and we've yet to play someone that really cares about Supreme Verdict, which is like, that's like the hinge where what this deck really hinges on. It's looking to prey upon decks that don't want to get Wrath of Godded. God bless you. God bless you, opponent. I don't know what you're doing, but Street Wraith is probably okay for us. Less bad than other things. I don't even... Watch just like Hallowed One run us out here. Just please be Grixis Shadow. Please be Grixis Shadow. I don't even care if they kill us. I just, I want to feel like I have a chance, okay? Watch it be Living End. Living End's probably not terrible for us with Wraths and Relics. I wouldn't be surprised to see us lose Relic here, honestly, if they're Grixis Shadow. Relic's pretty good in this matchup. I want to feel like I have a chance is my outlook on dating. I consider myself very blessed that Christy and I started dating before dating apps were a thing. Swiping and all that stuff sounds like a giant nightmare. I feel like I'm probably like one of the youngest people that's gonna be able to say that, right? Like I feel like we started dating right before that like really became the thing. Christy and I met through Boy Scouts, actually. The BSA has a co-ed branch called Venturing for people who are between the ages of 14 and 21. I mean, does it ruin it, Penna, or does it just kind of like change what the norms are? We did start dating while I had hair. That photo of me in long hair is from right near when Christy and I started dating. All right, well, they took our toys away, chap. But we do have, like, Gideon's pretty good here. I wonder if they have a Stubborn Denial. The Vendilion Clique's gonna let us, like, spot check and see what's going on, though. Is the last one. And no, we're gonna wrap up with BridgeVine League after this one. play a BridgeVine League after this one. Do, 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 do. Check and make sure your Prime's still valid, linked through your account, Terminator. Otherwise, contact Twitch support. Blue White Control is on the new fly list, Wahoo Junkie. For people that are new to the stream, the no fly list is not decks that I won't play. It's decks that I don't play for just $10. They're decks, and not all the decks on the no fly list are there because of power level reasons. Like Titan Shift is on the no fly list. It's just like decks that either they're power level reasons that people ask for a lot, or they're just generate kind of dry gameplay, in my opinion. Lantern is 1,000 American dollars. Wow, no stub, huh? That actually kind of surprises me. Huh. Well, I think I just let them keep these now, huh? Can I let them keep these? They like dismember this going to 4 and then like play another Death Shadow? We had someone swap one of their legacy lists that was high up for BridgeVine. So I'm letting them cut in. I think I just need to hope to draw land a Path to Exile here. Robo Reagan, thank you for the 4-month free subscription there. I appreciate it. Welcome back. No blocks here. What? Really? They just like not want to put themselves into Colonnade range here? I feel like they're supposed to just like dismember ship, right? Verdict. All right, that'll do. Pig. That'll do, pig. That'll do. We had 3 really good draws in the deck. And we had 4 pretty reasonable ones. Let's do this. We should be at 10 here. How much money would it cost to get you to go over some camera matches from my perspective, talking about the games? Oh, like go read through my future matches? I don't know. That's a good question. Is that content people would want to see? Maybe that's something worth exploring. Alright, so they found a fish. So they have Bolt, Snap, Tasigur in their hands. I basically just need to live to hit another land here, right? Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm unsure if reusing their footage and adding commentary over the top constitutes fair use or not. I am not a lawyer. So because they dismembered, they are just dead to this colonnade. So they're dead. My favorite thing about talking to Twitch chat is how many lawyers and doctors I meet. It's my absolutely favorite thing about interacting with Twitch chat is how many lawyers and doctors there are. That makes it a good joke, Zach. If you can't tell, it makes it a good joke. Yeah, timely's probably bad here. I don't want the chump blockers. The flash threats are great. Mana leak's pretty bad. Do I want Dispel? I feel like I kind of want Dispel in this matchup, right? I think Elspeth comes in. She's a big gal. I think I want these and I want these Spreading Seas out. All right, I'm going to run to the restroom really quick. When I get back, we're going to finish this match. This is the last match in this league with Blue Light Control. And then we're going to play a league with BridgeVine to wrap the day up. Don't go anywhere, folks. Thanks for hanging out. Ugh, chat. Why didn't you draw a good hand while I was gone? Is this your fault? I mean, if I had been here, we would have drawn a good 7. Now I have to mulligan. Whelp. Ding. Post hot takes with no justification. God bless. Man Eggs, thank you very much for the 2-month resubscription. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Doobie, yeah, the blue-red deck's a ton of fun to play. It's honestly just like my favorite kind of Magic. Unanul Man, thank you very much for the 6-month subscription. Pick up your training sword and begin your preparation to defend the land from Twitch chat. Thanks for the half a year of support. Welcome back. Yeah, playing against Grixis Shadow here. I let on the Ghost Quarter, so not only this way I can pop the Relic if they Thought Scour at end of turn, but also because I don't want to get soft stubbed on this Relic. Where did I go for my Masters? Actually, my Masters is from Illinois State University here in Bloomington. Christy and I moved here so I could go to grad school at ISU. And then we ended up staying because she found a job in town. And as someone who grew up in Chicago, I don't think I'd ever want to live there again. There's just so many people and so much violence. The crime rates in the city is absurd. Christy is a business analyst for a major insurance company. My master's degree is in mathematics. Ooh, candy. This card's probably absurd in this matchup, huh? Resolves. My wife is very supportive of my career as a clown. Should we have cast Opt? I don't think so. I think I'm just gonna like play around soft stub here. I'm also like not really looking for anything, but I guess I'll play it now because we can play it through soft stub. Any kind of math in particular. My master's project had to do with graph theory. More of a babysitter than a clown. I always tell people, streaming on Twitch is a lot like being a parent. You have to tend to speak very slowly and repeat yourself very often. I don't think these decks are very good against Tron, Hatman. I feel like people who are like married to these archetypes have to tell themselves they're good against Tron because otherwise they just feel bad about their deck decisions. And you make Twitch chat a butter sandwich. This is my dragon. My dragon's amazing. Yeah, it's going on, Death Faster. Welcome to a live one. Ugh. Okay. You could maybe argue that I'm supposed to wait till I have Dispel up there, but I think Infect's great. I think any deck that's capable of linear turn 2 to turn 3 draws is excellent. I think if BridgeVine keeps picking up in popularity, Infect probably has a pretty good matchup against it because the BridgeVine deck explicitly doesn't have a lot of interaction, especially in the main deck, and Infect's average linear kill is probably a lot faster than BridgeVine's average linear kill. If this is a Liliana here, we could maybe be in trouble, although I guess I have this Teferi, so that's not true. I think Blue-Red Storm is great. I think any deck that can consistently Goldfish a turn 3 kill is fine in Modern. That's the litmus test. Can you kill them on turn 3 with some consistency? Or B, can you kill them on turn 3 with some consistency? Or can you, what's it called? My mush mouth. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Or can you interact with them consistently before turn 3? I haven't played enough Spirits to know whether or not I like it. Infect, Krukklon Ironwork, Jeskai Ascendancy combo. Lots of decks that see play in Modern have turn 3 kills. All right, so I'm going to flash in this Nimble Obstructionist and try and block here, I think. Griselbrand is a very good deck. I think that deck is certainly competitively viable. It's very powerful. I think a big part of why Griselbrand doesn't see play is because it's expensive to build, and the cards you have to buy to build it don't overlap with any other cards in the format. Feels like an eternity. Anoronics, thank you for the 2/3 of a year of absurd support. Alright, sure. Sure. Then get it out of here. So, I know there are a lot of people who think you should cut Temur Battle Rage on the Grixis Death Shadow side in matchups like this, and I think that's incorrect. I think I like leaving in Temur Battle Rage. While it feels bad when you get tagged by the removal spell, I think the Death Shadow deck is so far behind from a grind standpoint in this matchup. Again, it's about recognizing your role in a matchup. You need to realize that you're the beatdown, and you're not going to go toe-to-toe and go long with a deck like Blue-White Control. So you need to double down on your ability to kill them and try to actually kill them. That being said, this Teferi should hopefully be lights out. Do I attack them here? I almost feel like I don't attack them, right? I think I just want to draw a couple cards with Teferi. Like, if I attack them, they can play Death Shadow this turn. How do you figure out the role for a deck that's not trying to run on the life axis like Mill? Well, I mean, it's still the same way, Jackal Girl. It's just instead of assessing their health total, you're assessing the number of cards in their deck and how you should be prioritizing interacting, playing to the board because you can't race what they're doing, or if you can race what they're doing. Even though those decks could grind Control Magic, they were much worse at grinding than Blue-White Control is. Like, Blue-White Control isn't good at a lot, but it is good at this. And, like, the fact that they took... Okay, Clique's a good draw. Or Path's a good draw, sorry. Now we're just attacking. Because I can Cryptic plus Clique, plus Dispels, and all these things. Forgot we were going to get to untap 2 lands. I probably should have played Clique out there. Maybe I should have played Clique on my turn. So, while Nimble Obstructionist and Gideon both did things I wanted them to do, I'm not sure if I buy playing Relics and Spreading Seas in this deck. And I guess we'll do a full wrap-up segment here in a second, but we'll talk about it. We actually have another Blue-White Control deck in the queue that someone sent me dollar dues to build my preferred Blue-White Control deck. It's going to be a little bit more traditional than like what this one is. Blue-white control is on the no-fly list, Infinity. No-fly doesn't mean I'm not going to play it. No-fly means that you have to send more money than normal for me to play it. Even if they have another stub here. They're fatal pushing my thing, sure. Wait. Oh yeah, they correct a fetch land. So this happens, we pay 1 for stub, we counter their shadow and draw a card. Yes. This turn ended up okay for us. Our opponent's draw this game also wasn't particularly good. Like, I agree that blue-white control's probably a little bit ahead in this matchup in general, but they also just, like, drew pretty poorly this game. Teferi is better than Jace the Mind Sculptor in this format by a very significant margin. It is not particularly close. Double strip mine them. I'm going to attack them to 1 and then put a 3rd lethal threat into play. Come on, opponent. Are we done here yet? All right, let's do a wrap-up segment while I sit here and wait in case they're doing the whole timeout thing. So Nimble Obstructionist and Gideon were consistently good today in this league. I think I'm actually kind of excited to try the next Hallowed Fountain deck that we're going to be playing with these cards in it. In fact, the build that I have a titled Hoagland down here, is going to have three Obstructionists in it. That being said, I think there's a reason why this style of archetype moved away from Spreading Seas, and I think Relic of Progenitus is kind of medium for the same reason. I think, like, these just Modern's a format that's very much about impacting the board, and I think these cards don't do that well enough. I also think the fact that we're playing these Relic of Progenituses means we can't play things like Logic Knot and Search for Azcanta. I think that's a big deal. I think those cards are very good in this archetype, also with Snapcaster Mage on occasion, and I think that these cards playing this upside isn't worth not being able to play those cards. Point 2, I think Terminus is one of the best things to be doing in blue-white control right now, and I think playing these 4-mana sweepers is just much, much worse. While you lose some of the control about when you get to play your sweeper with Terminus, the fact that Terminus bottoms things is very good against the graveyard-centric decks, and the fact that it only costs you 1 mana allows you to make up a lot of tempo that these decks often get behind. Being a deck, Modern is a format that's very much about tempo, so like being able to clear the board for only paying 1 mana, I think is a very big deal, because it allows a deck like this to catch back up with a Terminus, and then still have other mana left over to continue impacting the board so you don't fall behind again. It's very common in decks like this, even where decks that care about Supreme Verdict, where you wrath the board on 4, and they just refill the board again, and you're suddenly back in a very similar position where you're behind again. And again, like I said, I think in general, I'm not a huge fan of these decks, but I think I'll click over to the build that I was talking about. So this is going to be coming up, and again, I don't know exactly when we're going to be playing it because, you know, as democracy permits, I just play whatever people send me dollars to play. But I think I'm going to be trying something like this when the other blue-white control deck in the queue makes it towards the top. I have some more threats in the main, and then some extra clicks and stuff like that on the side. Also, I think this card and Baneslayer Angel, whichever ones you want to play, I think they're pretty absurd in Modern. You should definitely have one in your sideboard. All right, are we done salting off yet? All right, good. Appear to be done salting off. Attack you for 7, D's for your thing, pass the turn. Yeah, that's the other thing. You'll notice there's 2 Jaces in my deck here. I don't think Jace is amazing in Modern in general, but I think if you're playing Terminus, you need to play a card like Jace the Mind Sculptor to support playing Terminus, because Jace allows you to kind of regain some of that control that normally you lack with a card like Terminus. Well, that was the point where they couldn't. That was where we conceded. Sure, why not? That was the point. That was. Oh, Magic players. All right. We are going to delete this and import this other BridgeVine deck. Yeah, Brian. Thanks for swapping from the Legacy deck. That was the straw that finally broke the camel's back. Thanks for the great content with the consistency. D. Brian, thanks for the consistency with you. 14 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. We have 16 cards in the sideboard. All right, let's cut one of these. Then we'll be on our way.